Alright, we are on take 2 of this video because my smoke detector went off on take 1. Woot! Here's hoping it doesn't happen again. Anyways, today we are going to talk about shape and we are going to talk about contrast. So let's start with shape. There are two main categories of shape. You can either have geometric shapes or you can have freeform shapes. And within freeform, you can have an organic shape or an amorphous shape. Starting with geometric, because that's what we start you guys with when you're tiny little baby humans, we talk about circles and squares and triangles and all those other shapes that we have given man-made rules to. So we can take this little guy over here, point him to this square and go like, a square is geometric because every square has to have 4 equal straight sides that meet at right angles. Those are the rules. Otherwise, it's not a square. If it has rules like that, it means it's man-made. We also have our geometric circle over here, and we have our lovely geometric triangle. We also have this geometric shape right here, this four-pointed star, is another example of a geometric shape. Next we have organic. Organic is going to be the silhouette of a living thing. So if we look at our last 4 shapes, we can see that this deer head here is an organic, it was a living thing. This leaf here is an organic shape. This cloud shape and this blob, however, they're not the outlines of living things. They are amorphous shapes, so shapes that don't have one defined outlook, one defined shape. They morph between things. That's that cloud, puffy shape, paint splatter, all of those are amorphous shapes. And those are our notes on shape, so now we're ready for contrast. When we look at contrast, we're going to look at 6 different ways of creating contrast. You can create contrasts of color, contrast of proximity, contrast of texture, contrast of shape, contrast of value, and contrast of scale. When you think contrast, you want to think opposites. So 2 things that are opposite each other. So if I look at all of my shapes over here, my 2 opposite colors are going to be blue and this orange right here, because those 2 colors are opposite each other on the color wheel. So those are my 2 contrasting colors. Proximity just means how close or far something is away from each other. If you put objects really close together, they're going to look united, which is the opposite of contrast. United, like the United States of America, the states are all close together, except for Alaska and Hawaii. You can then take these 2 shapes and put them far apart to create contrasting proximity, the opposite of the unity. Next is texture. So if we're comparing the texture, I can take one of these guys, you're a smooth texture, and then the only other one that has a different texture is this guy right here. He's got like a speckle texture. And then it says shape. Going with our theme, we can start with one of these. This right here is going to be a geometric shape. It is a circle with a little bit of a straight edge over here. It's not the outline of a living thing. It's not a blob. However, I can also take this shape right here, which is a lovely little lightning bolt, which lightning, not technically alive, but it does have a natural organic shape because lightning is natural. Now, forgive me, I'm limited in the number of shapes that I have in order to do this, but this is the idea of 2 opposite shapes from each other. Value is going to be how light or dark a color is. The very lightest value is white, and the very darkest value is black. So those 2 are contrasting. And that leaves scale, which is just a fancy word for size. So I have one little, and I have one big, and one little extra over here just in case. And those are our notes on contrast.